here, simplertrading.com. We should be up and running on Facebook, YouTube, X, and we are also in the Moxie room. I just came off an hour in the Simpler Central room. It's kind of our big gather all room, our forum, basically, trading room in the simpler area. And so I've kept everything running for the Moxie room, and now I'm over here on the social medias. So I just want to make sure you guys all know what's going on here. Remember, if you have any questions, just throw them out there, both in the Moxie room and on Facebook, YouTube, all that. All right, so some of the things that I wanted to show you, oh, this is funny. Taylor, one of our other traders, always talks about chilies, and look at that. I wonder if they listen to us. I bet you they do. I bet they listen to us. All right, so one of the things, this market has been really, really good to us. We have been taking some profits off. So we've been cashing in CART, we cashed in Coin, we cashed in Mara. We've cashed in, quite a few things. And we've got some other stuff. I think I'm seeing some rotation out there. So I'll show you guys a quick little something about that. Before I get there, I do want to also show you some of the internals. So this is another of the things that I look at. And we have been seeing, this is part of why the market has actually stayed up and doing pretty well, is we've been seeing the number of stocks over their 20-day SMA start to regain. I was kind of wondering right here if this was just going to be a bounce and if it was going to then fade, but it's managed to stay and hold, and this is why we've had a pretty good time out there, and this is why things are maintaining, regrowing, and everything. You can even see the 50-day has also been moving up, and of course the 200 has just been maintaining. So that's all great. That's fantastic. We love seeing this kind of stuff. It is confirmation for the market. The only thing I will just point out as just kind of like, hey, look over your shoulder just in case something changes, is that when you get the number of stocks over their 20-day SMA to reach about 80 or 90, that's about as far as things like to go. That's when we tend to get a pullback, and you can just see those examples in through here, okay? And we're at 75. So it's been great that they've been regaining, but we're also getting to a point where this number might kind of be getting up to the next area of resistance. Just got to be aware of that. All right, guys. All right, let's see. So yeah, Nick, gold. Now, I don't trade gold. I have in the past. It's just not really my thing. There are definitely more other opportunities out there, but I have been talking about gold for quite some time, and I'm happy to see that everything I've been saying about gold is working out. So let me show you what's going on. Oops. Okay, so if we look, and I've been saying this, I mean, for 3 months easily, because you can see here we've had 3 monthly bars up there. And I said, it sure looks to me like gold is going to go higher because you've had, a couple tests up here, and you can see I have my red and green lines. And notice before, see how only wicks were up here? And the difference this time was, notice that you had 3, 4 candle bodies all staying above that green line. It's gone where price has never gone before, and it's not only going there, it's staying there. And that was something to really note and pay attention to. The other thing was, yes, it kind of ran up there, got resistance, but look what it did. It really just did this kind of simple, very shallow pullback, and look what it did. It pulled back into the 21, and now it's off and running again. So yeah, it's just been working out wonderfully. Chop, chop, chop in through here. Okay, the question is, when is it going to go? And look at this. There's your Moxie price trigger. There's your other Moxie price trigger. And then you can see right here, price perfectly flagged into and bounced off of the hourly 50. Okay. So the setup was there for you. Everything was there. And I've been talking about it for a few months. And I said, yeah, I totally see gold going higher at some point. The question is when. And that hourly chart really gave it to you. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, speaking of USO, so that's the other thing. Yeah, it's funny, Nick. Nick, you should really be in the Moxie room. You keep talking about things that I keep looking at. I don't know if maybe you've got an informant in there, but yeah, there are some things that I'm looking at. Let me get over to like USO. So USO, XOP, XLE. Yeah, coming in. We can Yeah, come, I don't know, email me. I'll hook you up to our customer support. We're running some coupons. We've always got good deals. And since you were a past member, maybe we can get you maybe we can get you a deal. So email me. But yeah, look at this. You can see here we got price basically now holding the monthly 10. Okay, this has been a very, very long time. You can see it's basically gone sideways, and that's something to think about it. If it hasn't gone down, maybe it's going to go up. And what you'll notice is, yeah, last time it got over the monthly 10, but it didn't hold. It pulled back. But now look what's happening. Starting to hold the monthly 10, and look at this squeeze. Now, I don't know if this is going to bode well for the economy or the market. I'm sure maybe a slightly moving up oil is okay for the economy and for the market, the world as a whole, but we don't want to see it skyrocketing, and I don't think we want to see it falling. So maybe there's kind of that sweet spot in the middle that is good. So if I don't, as I said, I don't know what kind of repercussions this is going to have for the economy and the market, whatever, but this is what's happening. Brighter side, I'd love to hear that. Thanks for the compliment. I'm glad that the lesson stuck and things I talk about stick. That's good. So yeah, you can see here, basically there's your double bottom, positive divergence. Notice the box indicator is putting in a higher low. And then also notice that the 8 has crossed over the 21, just like it crossed the 21 here. And each time that happened, there was an up move. Now, this up move didn't last, didn't sustain, but now we've put in a higher low and it's trying it again. So I am seeing that there is potential for USO, XOP, XLE. They're all kind of doing the same thing. Oh, and notice this. This is an inverse trampoline move. So if anybody doesn't have the Moxie indicator or you're looking at it and you're wondering what this thing is, this is one of the rules. Price should not be over the 50 SMA if the Moxie indicator is below 0. Look at that. There you go. So that was a false move. Price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. Now, you might be saying the same thing here, like, oh, it's not above 0. Well, this could actually be the time it changes. So we're starting to see a higher low. We're starting to see a higher low there. And if this continues to move up, then the Moxie indicator could continue to move up, and we could actually see that thing fire, I don't know, in the next few weeks, however long it takes. But that seems reasonable. Yeah, so with that, Nick, I just got off with the simpler central room, and we're seeing quite a few industrial names and other names that are starting to look pretty good. I'll show one real quick for all of you out there on the freebie public side. This is the kind of stuff I'm seeing. So I know AI has been going nuts. We've got NVIDIA and all that kind of stuff, but maybe the risk to reward ratio on those are starting to not be super favorable because they are so high. And we don't know how long they're going to stay up there. Maybe they just start going sideways. And so what I always do is I look for the next fresh batch of things that are going to start moving up. And I've been starting to come across a few names that kind of look like this. So here's a freebie for you guys out there out on the social interwebs. CF. This is a monthly and weekly time frame. Look how well this thing is holding that monthly 10. Notice the double bottom right there. And then also notice the cross, the 8 and 21. Also notice the squeeze and the squeeze. Okay. So start looking around out there, guys. If you want to be trading things, start looking for that. Oh, Loco no Joko, you're going to short AMD? Ooh, I don't know about that. And then, brighter side, you're also talking about beginning to see weakness in QQQ, watching breakdowns of Google, Apple, Microsoft starting to crack the seams as well. I know. I see it. I see those things. Here's my concern. And brighter side, you should know this. How many times have we talked about this? Where you were wanting to short it here or here or here, and you could be right, and maybe you were right for a day or two, right here, day or two, but it hasn't broken yet. And if you're making money, fantastic, don't change a thing. But if this is challenging for you and you're missing the bigger picture, because like maybe you're getting like 1 or 2 days short and then you miss the 10 days that are long. I'm just kind of saying out there, you got to be careful. because this market is still pretty darn resilient. And what we have to keep in mind is that what if this doesn't actually go down? What if it just goes sideways? For example, look at back here. Look at when the semis really just kind of went sideways. Very choppy, longs weren't really working, shorts weren't really working. That's what we need to be careful about is if this market finally does take a break, and sure, there's a short, there's a short, there was a short. Okay. But you're gonna have to be nimble. I just want to make sure that we keep in the back of our minds that if you're thinking short, that we're not just gonna, go short like that. Short might actually just be 1, 2, or 3 days. Gotta be real nimble because what if it just goes sideways? Okay, just gotta make sure we put that out there. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, so just gotta be careful. Yes, these things are really, really up there, and yes, they're probably gonna pull back, but just remember, yes, there's a pullback, 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 but they're getting bought up. So yes, we're probably close to a pullback. I personally don't want to short it. And if you guys do, great. But also just know where to get out and maybe go long again. And we might also just get into chop. All right. So yeah, Loco no Joca, let's take a look at AMD. You want to short this thing? Really? Oh man. How about I don't know. You guys can do whatever you want to do, but that's like saying you want to short it there. And yes, it worked for a couple days. And then, look, it just rested. You know? That's my point. Like, what if the market just does this and then it's up again? And sure, maybe you can short these things and you were right in a big way for 2 days. But wouldn't you rather be long like that? And hey, no joke, maybe you're doing both. Maybe you're doing both. But I would be cautious about shorting this stuff and just say, I'd rather buy the dips. Let's see, it's the most overvalued all semiconductors. The other semiconductors have a story behind them. There's something they can hold on to. AMD earnings were trash. Most overvalued mega whatever out there. Mega cap. How do you get OLPH from cap? OLP. Those those letters aren't even near each other on the keyboard. That's funny. Yeah. If you're gonna short, don't overstay your welcome. And you know what? The stories don't really matter. Narratives don't always matter like that. Okay, they travel in packs and they bring their friends. These things are gonna, they're gonna move up because they're all going to be part of this. And maybe AMD is most overvalued. Doesn't matter, man. You don't want to be the one guy out there screaming his head off and saying, "Look, it shouldn't be up here." And you might be right eventually, and you might be right eventually in a big way. Maybe AMD does tank eventually, but not yet. So just be careful about picking up pennies in front of a steamroller when you could be picking up dollar bills. So just because something doesn't make sense, you don't want to fight it. I feel like you know this, but let's talk about it. Yeah. 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 Nice logo, no Joko. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I know the mega caps. So for brighter side, if you look at FNGS or FNGU, I have been noticing that these things are probably going to take a break. The mega caps are actually taking a break. Up here you can see the Moxie indicator starting to roll down, and that's okay. We have been seeing the rest of the market actually pick up. So it is a little perplexing that the biggest stocks are actually not doing well, and yet the indexes are actually still staying up. Okay, a little perplexing, but keep trading the things that are working. And, it's hard to argue that. But yeah, I know. Microsoft, it's just going sideways. There was an inverse trampoline move here, price over the 50, Mox indicator below 0. But would I short it? No. What if it just goes sideways? Same deal. Yep, Apple has been moving down. Yeah. Okay. That one is actually pretty clean. Notice how the Mox indicator was below 0 here, and price is above the 50, that's another inverse trampoline move. And same thing here, inverse trampoline move, and then price continued to get rejected by the hourly 50. That was a pretty clean short. Absolutely. But I'm just not interested. I trade stock, I don't trade options. And so the amount of money that I would make with Apple going down is almost not much. Like, what is that? 10%? I would make 10%. How many days did that take? It took 26 days, 28 days. Whereas Groupon, we made 30% in 24 days, 3 times the amount in the same amount of days. Or Cart, we really loaded up on this one. We made, let's say on average, we made 23% in 18 days, double. So yeah. Let's see. Brighter side. Lastly, core inflation report next Tuesday. Critical. I wonder if that will be the nail in the coffin on this bull run. No idea. No idea. We'll have to see. I do know Jerome Powell is speaking right now. Apparently, the market's okay with that because the market keeps bouncing back. Oh, okay, gotcha. Look, no joke. You're actually using Siri to type. Interesting. Okay. All right, Kirk, let's take a look real quick at MSTR. What are you wondering? What do your charts show on MSTR? Basically, I think this thing is very extended out. Remember, MSTR is a direct proxy for Bitcoin because they basically own so much Bitcoin, it's going to move exactly how Bitcoin moves. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's been an absolute wild ride. Very, it's been like 100%. So yeah, it's a huge ride. It's hard to say what's going on up here. From the monthly, weekly perspective, this thing is way up there. So it's hard to really give you any kind of context. The only other thing I could say from here is that it's also gotten pretty extended from the daily chart. I mean, look, near vertical, near vertical. So yeah, at some point it's going to make sense that this thing starts to pull back and come down. Now, the first line in the sand, hourly 50. If it can stay above the hourly 50, great. Otherwise, it seems to me these things are probably going to need to start chilling out. I'd be a little concerned being long here or even wanting to initiate a long here. I would be in defensive mode. I would be starting to take risk off, giving these things room to breathe, see where they want to go. But I would just be kind of defensive on this stuff. They've had huge moves, and at some point, most likely they're going to want to rest a little bit. But if I'm wrong and they want to keep going up, then watch for them to stay above these moving averages and continue to move up. And then Kirk, if we look at Tesla, not much going on there. Yeah, we took a quick trade on this. I think we made just a few percent on it. Glad we got out. I was basically looking forward to come up to its daily 50. It didn't quite get there, but I could see that it wasn't looking too good, so we got out. And since then, I don't know what the news was, but look, it broke the hourly 50. That's your signal. Like that's when it failed. Broke the hourly 50. And now I'm not doing anything. I'm not short, I'm not long, I'm just not even touching this thing. I think if you wanted to go short, this is not the greatest place. It's already had a pretty big move to the downside. I would look for a bounce if you want to short it. And if you want to go long, I can't say that either. So I don't really see an opportunity. So I'm just not even dealing with Tesla. Let's see, Meta. So MROB. Yeah, okay, so can I explain Meta? The hourly Moxie is below 0 for 2 weeks and Meta price continue to rise higher. Just trying to understand the indicator. Yeah, so it's a two-part rule. So MROB, do you own the Moxie indicator? If you do, then you should have had some of the instructions that come with it and cheat sheets and stuff like that. And so there's a two-part rule. To exit, you want the Moxie indicator below 0, and you want price below the 50. Now, yes, it dipped below the 50, but then it got right back up, okay? So if you were trying to short this, I just wouldn't. Kind of like what I said before, this is a very strong name. Don't try to short something that is clearly in an uptrend, okay? So rule number 1, don't short this thing. Rule number 2, if you're in, you can stay in as long as price also continues to follow the hourly 50. But with the Moxie indicator below 0, you want to be like really, really aware, like on a hair trigger for this thing to roll over, okay? Because clearly energy and momentum is negative, but it's going to do what it's going to do, and it's going to continue to stay above the 50 for as long as it wants to. Okay. So after this, now I know it took a little dip right there, but at this point, if this thing breaks the hourly 50, I personally would be out because this thing is just pushing. Okay. So yeah, it is giving you a heads up. That's the whole point. The Moxie indicator is just a momentum indicator. So it's telling you the energy and momentum are negative, but then you're like, why is this thing still going up? Well, it's still going up because the market is irrational and it's also following its moving average. So there you go. That's why I have a two-part rule about entries and exits. So yeah, just be careful. This thing is very, very high. It's likely to pull back. Maybe that pullback can be viable, but we'll have to wait and see. So it is getting a little bit up there, and I would be on a hair trigger to get out or take profits if this thing starts to falter. WMG, and then I got to kind of get going. You guys actually suddenly have a lot of questions here. I'm aware of this one. I've seen it. Its potential. I personally don't know if I'd want to trade it because it doesn't seem like it's going to go too far, but it is starting to engage with the monthly 10. It is sitting on the weekly 21, so that all looks pretty good, and I see that it's got some squeezes. Good. It had earnings. I like to wait till after earnings, but if it's going to go, I need to see this thing actually stay over the hourly 50. It needs to get past the 200 and actually hold the 50, and it could be right there. So it's a part of the reason why I don't really want to trade a stock like this is because it's just kind of choppy, very choppy. So it needs to get back over the 200. It needs to get back over the 50. If it can do that and then maintain those moving averages, okay, then we can be long and we can go there. If it doesn't, like if this is a bounce and it continues to roll over, then watch out for it to get rejected by the 200 and get rejected by the 50. So there's your guidance on that. Zane, I don't know any good bots, limit buy bots, if that's what you mean, like automatic things. Imrob, great. Love to hear that you got the Moxie indicator. Refer back to the notes, and honestly, yeah, feel free to ask any kind of questions. But other than that, when you got the indicator, you should have gotten some guidance, some cheat sheets, and I don't know any of the classes that I have that kind of show you guys how to use the Moxie indicator. But yeah, good. Glad you have it. All right, guys, I pretty much need to get going. And yeah, very chatty this morning. Love to hear you guys. So it's great. Looks like the market's been, coming back, doing well. I do think that there seems to be a rotation happening out there. So if some names of yours start to falter, look around for new names that maybe start to rise and maybe a little bit more in the industrial consumer defensive kind of situation, right? And yeah, hopefully we see you guys in there. So remember, Brighter Side or anybody else, if you guys want to come into the Moxie room, I know we're always running some specials. Coming over, come chat to us, talk to customer support. We'll hook you up and do what we can to get you in. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks.